These performative males actually need to be stopped, right? So if you don't know what these guys are, they essentially are the guys who will do basically anything to get attention from the huz. And I'm talking about faking everything from their personality to their fits to try to pull the huz. And now essentially it's become this huge joke of a punching bag online. But let's break down the different brain-rotted aspects of these performative males. Lock in, subscribe if you haven't already. All right, so first of all, we actually really do need to discuss Labubu. If you don't know what this is, these are basically Labubu dolls, but I have a little story, okay, to show the impact of these things, so lock in. All right, so me and the boys were at the mall, right? And we were just walking around going in various stores. And all of a sudden, we get to this really bright store and we're like, oh wow, this looks, this stands out a lot, right? So we walk over to it. I think one of my friends knew what it was. I kid you not, there is like 10 different vending machines with like the little claw arms that you could use to pick up stuff. Bro, the amount of Labubu dolls littered within that store was off the rail. Like I'm talking like we walk in, we look left, there's like 5 mega sized Labubu dolls on the wall. We walk around like, I want to say a good amount of those vending machines, maybe there was like 20 of them, like 8 of them had Labubu dolls in there. And we essentially walked around and just saw a bunch of Labubu dolls. So we're like, okay, you know, this Labubu craze, it might be a little bit more than we think. And they were charging real money for you to try this. And these things are scams, by the way. But whatever, we keep it pushing, right? So then we keep on walking. We walk into a different store, more Labubus. This time we got Chanel and LV Labubus. And I'm like, bro, where did this even come from? Like, it didn't even take that long for large commercial malls to have Labubus. And I'm saying these things aren't even real. Like, there's no way the LV Labubu is actually genuinely real. The LV Labubu, the Chanel Labubu, like there's no way these are actually real. And when you think about the market for these Labubus, it's not guys, right? It's not for guys to buy these Labubus. The Labubu market is for girls. And this is where the whole introspection of the whole thing comes in, right? Because let's break it down, really lock in and have an intellectual conversation about this, okay? When something is perceived as valuable, when something is perceived as low supply, that immediately makes it more desirable to the public. And where people noticed that females are very, very inclined to buy Labubu dolls, the performative males stepped in. The way I like to think about Labubu dolls is the way I think about Pokemon cards, right? Pokemon cards for men, right? The amount of scalpers that would buy a bunch of Pokemon cards, or the amount of guys that will do anything to get their hands on Pokemon cards, is the way I feel like some people see Labubus. And the performative males hopping on this trend know exactly what the females want, which is unique and crazy Labubus. So what do these performative men go and do? They buy a bunch of Labubus, they get Labubus and put it on their trousers, on their shorts, and hopefully use it to bag the huz. But I think a funny part about this aspect is that the Labubu doll didn't actually help in the slightest. And I think there's a really funny clip that you guys have to see of this guy who comes to like, I think it's like a 5v1 or a 20v1, like pop the balloon, and he brings a Labubu doll. This is what happened to bro.
I ducked him because he has a Labubu on his path.
What's wrong with the Labubu?
So as you can see, the Labubu doll, not only did it do nothing, but the Labubu doll made bro lose out. Crazy. Now, another aspect of this is wearing wired headphones. Now, you may be wondering, why would they wear wired headphones instead of wireless headphones? Well, that is a very good question, young Padawan, because it goes back to social media. Everything we know online for social media is very performative, right? I would say take everything you see with a grain of salt. It's only the highlight reel. And part of this is the trend of what music are you listening to, right? Now, there are a bunch of genuine and authentic videos, and then there are a bunch of joke videos. But essentially, 99.999% of these people will wear some wired headphones. Okay, maybe not really, but essentially these performative males will wear wired headphones, right? And the reasoning for this is that you look 10 times more interesting and 10 times more awful if you wear wired headphones. Why? Because imagine the performative male is walking forward. All of a sudden, a female stops him. What are you listening to? Boom, you bust out the Frank Ocean. It's done, it's wrapped. These guys will only ever tell you Claro, Frank Ocean, and Bryson Tyler, that's his name? I don't know. Songs that are geared towards women, okay? That's another performative male strat. They will use and abuse these wired headphones. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about were the self-help books and feminist literature. Now, a kind of sad part of society today is that no one really reads anymore. Like, I will actually be flabbergasted if I see someone with a book in public. It's gone to the point where, myself included, we all just watch videos instead. It's getting way harder to actually have attention span to actually read these things. things, and most people just resort to either listening to the audiobook or watching a video on something similar to that topic. But what these performative guys will go and do is grab a book, a physical hard copy book. Okay, cool. But then they will not read it at home. They will take it in public. And I think this next video is a great example of what a performative male does when they have a book in their hand in public. So as you can see, bro is reading both books at the exact same time while going down the escalator. And this is the secret strategy. You open the book and act nonchalant. I'm seeing multiple videos where they stroll into public libraries, or the forbidden strat walk into Starbucks, and they will just bring this book and act all casual and nonchalant with it. Hold on, let me show you an example. So as you can see, I have a book right here. I just look at the book, act all nonchalant, pretend I'm actually reading it. I haven't read a single sentence, and then just keep it pushing. And as you can see, they use this as a secret strategy. Now let's talk about the demeanor of these performative guys. Now I would call, 2025 is more so the nonchalant era. A lot of what you see online is pushing this whole nonchalant arc, and honestly I think it's pretty funny, but now it's crossing over into real life. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but all of a sudden it's become cool to not try. Like, I don't know why this is true, but it's all of a sudden become a trend to make everything look effortless, not try if something's actually difficult, just to come off as nonchalant. And this is where the performative men step in, because not only you're gonna have these wide headphones and open book, you're gonna act mysterious. And if you act mysterious enough, just enough, you will be noticed. And let me highlight you on these nonchalant videos. If you actually ever seen any of them, a bunch of the captions are like, when me and the homie are aura farming, or when me and the homie are doing stuff on some chill stuff, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's exactly what these performative guys will do. They're constantly on some chill stuff. Everything for them is being nonchalant and having a bunch of aura. In fact, you will gamble your aura to stay within the act, even though you do not care about anything you're wearing or reading or listening to at that point in time. Everything is a fake act, but the icing on the cake has to be matcha. Now, if you don't know what matcha is, it's like a green drink. Think of it as in boba, but I would say like 5 times the amount of women using it. At least what I've noticed, I rarely ever see a guy drinking matcha. I only ever see females drinking matcha. So these performative males have decided to sidestep the boba and drink matcha publicly. Now, if you haven't seen, there's a bunch of clips of guys pretending to be performative men. Every single one of them has matcha in it. Essentially, the whole joke is that you have to drink a bunch of matcha and act like it's the only thing you drink. Because I won't lie, this one is low-key accurate. I think women really like matcha. That's just me though. But it's really funny to see how all of this stuff has amassed to become a whole trend. I mean, these performative guys are willing to pull any strat at any level to get what they want. I think it's become one of the funniest internet memes we've ever seen, because we have a whole group of guys online acting mysterious with books with wide headphones in. Absolutely hilarious, absolute class. But that is the performative male epidemic and all of the aspects of these performative males. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the recent rise of performative males? Do you see it as a joke, or do you actually see people like this in real life? Let me know. You guys are the best. Make sure to follow my socials at Hyperstrides on Instagram and TikTok. You're the best, and see ya.